as we'll find now in a moment, having labelled our triangle, is that we run into difficulty. So let's see, remember we said we decide, is it sa, ka, toa, and yet again for this example it's actually soc, because we've got the hypotenuse and we have the opposite. Opposite and hypotenuse is going to be SOHCAHTOA, so sa. So the sine of our angle, which is sine 25, is equal to the opposite over the hypotenuse. So sine 25 is equal to 11 over h. And this is where people run into difficulty, because the problem is that the thing we're looking for, the hypotenuse, is underneath our fraction. Now, one of you, George, was just talking in his group about how he would do it. So just to say, again, there's two options here. It might be easier if you find the sine of 25 first. So I'm just going to do that because some people like that. That means they get rid of that nasty sine word. So sine 25 equals. So here it's 0.423 if I give it to 3 decimal places. Okay, 0.4226, which would round up to 0.423, equals 11 over h. Now, again, we're still stuck though because our hypotenuse is underneath. Now, there's a magic maths way of doing this and there's an actual maths way of doing this. So I'm going to do it actual maths and then tell you magic maths. So I'm going to multiply both sides by h, because remember, to get rid of a fraction, we multiply both sides by the denominator, the thing that's underneath. And what I'm left with then is that h times 0.423 is equal to 11. That gets rid of the h underneath, which is why we did it. Now, the problem is now I have my h closely attached to this 0.423. So what I end up doing is dividing both sides by 0.423. So I have h is equal to 11 divided by 0.423, which tells me that h is, so 11 divided by 0.423 equals 26.00, so 26. My hypotenuse is 26. Does that make sense? Yeah, it's bigger than 11, so that's all that matters. It's got to be the longest side. Now, that sometimes causes people loads of stress, especially if you've never liked manipulating things around fractions and stuff. So magic maths. Okay, let's go back to magic maths here, which will work if you wanted to. What I've got here is that sine 25 is equal to 11 over h, and then what I did was I said 0.423 is equal to 11 over h. Magic maths, to cover up the real maths for a minute, magic maths says I can swap those. Okay, I can swap my h and my 0.423. So what I do is the h goes up there, so I get h is equal to, and the 4.23 goes down there. I swap them over. H is equal to 11 divided by 0.423. Which is what I ended up with doing my proper maths. But just for some of you, remembering to swap will be easier than remembering to multiply first of all by the h and then dividing by the 0.423. So I get h is equal to 26. Okay, so I don't mind if you use magic maths. Obviously, in the long run, for your maths, if you're going to go on and use maths in college, it's better that you understand why the magic maths works. But I'm not going to stress too much about it. If you want to just swap those two, that's fine. Do you want me to do another example of finding a side when it's on the underneath, or are you happy with that explaining how you would do it?